Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. Yesterday we got little spitballs added to our bats, so as they fly within range they turn red and turn into an attack state, which then spits a little spitball right at our direction. So what we need to do is add the spitball doing damage to us, and it needs to hit us. Ay, we keep getting this. We're going to see if we can recreate this once we get the timing different for the spitballs, because I think it might have something to do with... I'm not sure what it has to do with. It's indexing a nil value, but we're removing any spitball that's in there, and we're only updating the spitball if there is a spitball in the .attacks table for our map. So I don't get why it's been doing that, because right here we only go to update any given attack if our attack table does not if our attacks table at the first index does not equal nil, meaning if there is an attack in there, then we're going to go ahead and update it. But if we ever hit that .remove boolean, then we're going to go ahead and just remove the given attack. So, not sure why we crashed there. I'm thinking it might have to do with the speed at which the spitballs work, but I really don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at how we're doing the knockback from our player when we collide with a gecko and see what all needs to happen, like right here. We basically have this damage flash. Oh yeah. So if we collide, and if we're not already damage flashing, so that we can do it only once, we're going to play the hurt sound. Did Jimmy really just faceplant? We're going to play the hurt sound. We're going to damage flash true. We're going to deduct our health by 1, which is half a heart. We're going to modify our DX by a spell knockback. Because this is a left collides, that means we're going to be knocked to the right positively, and then the player becomes hit, which will prevent getting hit again. But let's see what the dot hit does. Where do we use the dot hit? Okay, we're using a dot hit to prevent another kind of behavior, but I'm not seeing where it is, so I would think it would be in the here if we're not already hit. You know, we're kind of using the dot hit in the same idea that we're doing a damage flash, because we should be, if we're not already hit, become hit, add your knockback, deduct your health, and then the next time, since we're hit, you know, it would not play the sound again, because we're only doing this if we're not already hit. So I'm kind of thinking it's something like that, and we're just doing a damage flash also. Do we do our rendering for our flashing based on this damage flash? We do it in the... I'm wanting to see if we render using the damage flash. But I'm not seeing it. Okay, so I have a feeling we can just replace our damage flash with dot hit. So let's take a look at this, and now we do need something like this. Like we have. Okay. So the thing is, with our spitballs, we're not actually checking collision with a spitball and a player. We could do that, but it's kind of just tweening its value and disappearing. Now we kind of should see, because it disappears before it even reaches the player, you know? It looks like it disappears before it hits the player. Like there, sometimes we can see it go to the center of us. I'm kind of thinking, well, we're tweening it over the course of like 0.1 second, I think. So if we look at our spitball, yeah, we're tweening it over 0.1 second, and we're putting it sort of, yeah, in the middle of our player. So what we can do is we can say, if the lifespan of the spitball is smaller than 0, meaning we're about to remove it, we can then do the things that we need to do in order to do damage to our player. So we should be able to do it here, and we should be able to say a lot of stuff like this. So like we can say you know, I would, since we're removing it right after this, we shouldn't need to do any sort of hit or anything like that. But if the lifespan's 0, we want to play the hurt sound. We want to become damage flashing, which I want to say in our player walk state or our player entity that we're actually rendering a damage flash based on the color right there. Let's see if we're doing that. I want to say it's in our player class. We should, well, we defer it to the entity render. So do we have a damage flash in the entity render? Render, no we don't. Oh, we have a self flashing. If the type does not equal spellcast. Self flashing. Okay, so when do we become self flashing true? We do it in the entity update based on the damage flash. Okay, so we can't get rid of the damage flash because that's what does this damage flash timer. We could change this to the if self.hit and then get rid of the damage flash instantiation. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but let's just see if we can get the hits registering. Now, right now, we only have a negative knockback. Let's do a negative knockback on the DX to move us left. So let's just see if we get hit by a spitball here. Yes. Yes, man, that's it. So the thing is, if we get hit on the right side, oh god, we're going to move left into it, which isn't right. So we need to basically determine which way we were hit. So maybe what we can do, since we are in our attack state, we're already kind of asking which corner of what we're doing. And we have access, actually, yeah, we don't have access to a specific spitball. We just have a spitball. So if there was a way to kind of snag which index this spitball insertion happens to be, which, you know what, I think it might be. See, it gets tough because if we have another table, as we remove spitballs, we need to remove a corresponding table. So we need like something like a dictionary to kind of keep track of which index and which spitball, but then it gets a little messy. Okay, Jimmy's trying to crawl up. Okay, so maybe what we can do, we could, because the thing is, like, we have access to, like, which direction the bat is in response to the player, but but the thing is, we don't have a way to kind of determine this specific spitball is coming from the right, so let's move our DX left or whatever it is. So ideally also we would kind of move the DX and DY potentially diagonally, or just left, or just down, or diagonally, but we don't have that. Maybe what we can do is, maybe here in the spitball update we can get, okay, so look, let's do a calculate direction boolean, and we don't have a calculated direction. So, like, let's say calculated direction gets false. Then we can say if our spitball doesn't have a calculated direction, then we want to assess the spitball's entity position and the player's entity position, and calculate, do we need to move up, left, down, or right? We could do it as simple as that. Maybe we start there and see if we need to add diagonals, because I kind of feel like we should probably add diagonals. Jimmy's crawling. So if not calculated direction, we're going to do some stuff, and then we're going to set our calculated direction to true, so we only calculate it once. Only upon the instantiation of the spitball are we trying to see where the direction's coming from. So we have a constant called spell knockback. We should have a spell knockback here of 60. So right now we're doing a 60 change in X or Y position, either positive or negative, depending on which direction. But if it's diagonal, we can say, if we want to move it diagonal to the right, we say, let's get half of our spell knockback, give half of it to the DX, half of it to the DY, and then we'll move diagonally down. And what's happening is we're decrementing our DX and DY over time until they're 0, until we're not moving anymore. That's when our hit becomes false, then we can get hit again. So we just have to calculate, let's just do hit to left, hit to right, hit to down, hit to up. So if we get hit and need to move to the left, we would calculate a specific knockback, which we would probably we'd probably have something like hit left getting false, because we need to kind of say, if hit left is true, if hit left is true, we assign a knockback here to our DX based on our hit left or on our hit direction. So, like, we can say if self dot hit left or whatever, then we're gonna get a negative spell knockback on our DX, which should move us left. So in here we can say, well, how do we know if it's a hit left? We would just ask what our scene views player X is, and we'd have to do 2 checks. So we can say if our player is smaller than our spitballs X, we know we're on the left side. But then if we're on the left side, then we ask, okay, well, if our player's Y at that point is smaller than, well, hit left, hit right. Because we need to know whether or not to hit left or up. See, this is a little tricky because it's like, yeah, we have to kind of choose quadrants. It's almost like if we calculate, oh gosh, I don't know. If we do the difference between our x, we can at least get what side we're on, but then we need to calculate, okay, well, are we more up or more down? Man, I don't know how to do this. We can think about it like a quadrant. We might have to draw this out. Okay, how do I full screen this thing? There we go. Okay. Excuse my poor knowledge of GIMP. You know, what do we do? How do you deselect something? Okay. Okay. So we need what? P for pen tool or brush? B for brush? Okay. So if we're trying to figure out which direction to move us, let's say this is our player. And we can either be knocked back in, you know, what is it, 8 different directions? Yeah, we've got 6, 7, 8. Okay. So we need to know whether or not to move us to the left, up, right, down, diagonal, 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 diagonal. So how do we calculate this? Well, we know our bat is somewhere in here, and the only difference in the positionings are the X and Y. But it could be, you know, it could be over here, it could be over here. So like our X could be, our bat's X could be to the left of the middle of the player, or it could be to the right of the middle of the player. We just don't know how far over. So how would we do this? You know, we can definitely say if the left side of our bat is greater than the right side of our player, then we know we're in these 3, right? We know we're in the far right column. So maybe we start there. We say, you know, are we in the rightmost column over here? Or are we in the leftmost column over here? And then once we're in there, we can say, okay, well, is the bottom of our bat smaller than the top of our player, so that we can figure out if we're in this position, or if the top of our bat is greater than the bottom of our player, then we know we're here. And if we're in the left column and we're not either of these, we know we need to move left with a left DX. Then we can do the same thing for the right, figure out the right, figure out if we're either up here or up here. And then we only have 2 conditions to worry about, and then we just check, okay, well, is our bat above our player? If so, we move up. If our bat's below our player, let's move down. So I think that's how we're going to go about it. Let's do that. So first step is left column solving, and then top left and bottom left, else just left. And then we do the right call. And then we do this the same, but it's you know, are we in the top right or the bottom right? And if not, else we're just right. Okay. I think that's the way to go about it. Then we're solving, you know, then we're giving at least, you know, I think we need these 8 directions because it's not gonna look good otherwise. So let's change our stuff here. So we know we need a calculated direction true so that we only calculate it once upon the initialization essentially. And we could do it, we can literally do it upon the initialization up here. Because we only make a spitball entity once we're actually spitting it, so we can calculate it as soon as we get it. We can calculate it, and this will only run once. So we would need a, you know, we'd need a hit right. We'd need a hit up. Left, right, up, down. Up, down, left, right. And then we would need a hit top left, a hit bottom left, and then a hit top right, and a hit bottom right. Those should be our 8 directions, and we do have 8. So we initialize all as false, and then we can do the pseudocode that we were just thinking about. So let's say, you know, left column, right call. Okay, so left call. We know we're in the left call if our spitball. Now let's check. We want to check if our bat's position, because we have a hey, Mr. Spudcake or Mrs. Pudcake. My text editor is NeoVim, so I'm in the terminal. That's how we're doing it. This doesn't quite work. No, this should work with the spitball because we're spawning the spitball where the bat is. So we need to check. We don't really have a width and a height to the spitball, so we can either go off just the top left corner, or we can maybe go off the center of the spitball. So maybe we do that. So we would know if we're in the left column, if our spitball, let's just do the top left origin of the spitball first. I think that'll be easier. So we would know if the right side of our spitball, which we're just going to say is our X, if that is smaller than our player's X, then we know we're in the left column. And then if it's greater than, if it's greater than the, well, no, we would want to do an else if here, because we want to see if the left side of us is greater than the right side of our player, because we have to solve for just moving up or just moving down. So we have to say if our X is greater than the right side of our player, which would be player.x plus player.width. So that would be, that would be this. Okay, so right call, left call. then we would have two other conditions for just up or just down. So we can say if we're not to the we're not in the left call, we're not in the right call, so we're in the middle call, then we can say that our Y position would have to, if our Y position of our spitball is smaller than the Y position of our player, then we need to hit up. So this would be hit up. Well, no, this would be hit down because the spitball would be above us, so we need to get hit down. And we could do just an else there, but I like to be a little explicit about it, and we'll say, okay, well, if our Y is greater than the bottom of our player, so we'll say Y plus the scene view player height. If our spitball is greater than, which means below the bottom of our player, then we need to hit up, and we'll get hit straight up. And Spudcake, this is Lua, the programming language. So we've got a lot of our stuff here in .lua files. So the game engine we're using is Love2d, and the language is Lua. Super easy language. Like, if you don't know much about programming, you can recognize a lot of this stuff. There's not a lot of syntax heavy stuff in Lua, so I think it's very beginner friendly. So okay, if we're in the left call, we need to decide if we are in the top left or the bottom left. So we do that by checking our Y position. So if our spitball is smaller than the top of the player, so it would be player.y, then that would be top left hit. Because our Y would be above the top of the player, so we would be in the left column, which is moving to the left, and above our player, which means moving upwards. Okay. Then we can say if our Y is greater than the bottom of our player, then that would be a bottom left hit. Okay, so that takes care of left. This will be the right, and we do the same thing. We say if our Y is above the top of our player, then it's going to be a top right hit. And then we can say if our spitball is beneath our player, so Y plus height, it would be a bottom right hit. Yep. Cool. And then if we're just above and not in the other column, it's a hit down. Okay, so this, we need our 8 conditions accounted for. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So where are we missing? We have top. Oh, we need just left and just right. So we need to do, yeah, we need just left and just right to be our last. And Spudcake, I've been programming 5 years now. Yeah, I've just been teaching myself and watching YouTube and stuff like that. So it has been about 5 years, yeah. Okay, so how do we know if we're just to the left? We're asking if it's top left or bottom left. So this, we can do an else condition to be just left. So this would be just left. And then this, we can do an else condition to catch the right. right hit. Okay, so we should have all 8 conditions accounted for. And then this would be if our player is greater than the bottom. If our Y is greater than... So, okay, if the spitball's beneath us, we need to hit up, yeah. So that should be all our conditions. So now, all we need to do is assign the correct booleans for these hits. So, if this hit is, what? Top left hit? Self dot hit top left. Hey, Spudcake, hey, thank you. Hey, we just hit our follower goal. Thank you. That's awesome. 210. That's amazing. Thank you for the follow. So we'll hit left becomes true. And then bottom left hit, so it'll be a hit bottom left gets true. And then left hit is just hit left gets true. And then top right hit top right gets true. And then bottom right hit, so self hit BR just right would be a hit right. Okay, so then we need our last two, which is just down, hit down. So now we're only doing this once upon the init, which makes sense because as soon as the spitball is generated, we know which direction it should hit us. So we're doing this calculated direction gets true after we assign one of these hits, right? So we're only, I guess, even since this is in the init, we don't even technically need this. Yeah, we don't even need this calculated direction. We should just be able to say, let's calculate our direction and assign it, and we'll get rid of this and get rid of this. Okay, so we can say okay, so we've got these booleans, but we're not assigning our velocity based on the booleans yet. So we could we don't want to assign the boolean until right here, until the lifespan of the spitball is about to be removed, right? So like until the spitball comes to where we were standing, until it tweens to our location, that's when we want to do this. So we can say if hit left, assign a negative spell back, a spell knockback to our DX, but if we're hit right, then we'd hit our DX to be a positive spell knockback. If we're hit down, we would go modify our DY, and it would be player DY gets a positive spell knockback. That should be downwards. If we are hit up, then our Y would be a negative DY, negative spell knockback. And then here's where we need to modify both. In the case of the diagonals, let's start with hit top left. If we hit top left, then we need a leftwards DY, negative leftwards DX, and a negative DY so that we go up and to the left. So let's do scene view. We know we need player.dx. Let's just do some we want to, I just want to do this where we say, we know we need this a couple of times. So top left, top right, bottom right. So we have top left, bottom left, and then we have top right, bottom right. So we should be able to say top right, top right. See, we have this BT. This should be bottom right. Because we have a top left, top right, bottom right. Okay. So top left, bottom left. Then we need a top right, so top right, and a bottom right. Right? Yeah. Bottom right. Okay, so top left needs a leftwards knockback, and we need to divide this by 2 because we need to cut our knockback. Since we're assigning it to both our x and y, we need to we either need to half it, or we might actually, I think we need to multiply it by 1.4. Yeah, root 2. Top left. So upwards, left and up would be negative. Bottom left would be negative x, positive y. Top right would be negative y, positive x. Bottom right would be positive y, positive x. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I do think, I do think we need to multiply this by root 2. So we will multiply, and what we can do, we want to find any back, replace with back, and multiply by math dot square root of 2. Okay, I think that's right. So we're assigning our dx here, and then in our entity, if our dx is not 0, it will adjust itself to be 0 over time. Okay, let's see if we get knocked back, because we're taking damage, and now instead of just taking damage, we also assign a special dx. So let's see if our bat hits us now. In the right direction. So like, it should hit us to the left if it comes straight from the left, or straight from the right. It should move us just left. We had it backwards. It moved us right. Let's try this one. That one worked. Oh my god. That one works. That one's backwards. It looks like we just flipped our hits. So let's see. If the top of our spitball is greater than the bottom of our player, yeah, I think we switched this. I think this should be, so this is in the left column, and our spitball is beneath us. So that should be a top left hit. And this should be a bottom left hit. Yeah, we just switched this around on every direction, it seems like. And then here, if we... So I think what's confusing me is like hit left means we need to move left. So this would actually be a hit right. Well, we get to choose it. So hit... let me think. Yeah, hit left means that... Oh, yeah. The naming is weird. Because it's like... I named it on what I want it to do, which is hit left. If the spitball's on the... Oh, no, we did screw this up. This should be right. Hit right because the spitball was on the right. So this should be right hit. And then this should be left hit. And then here, if we're in the right column, if the Y is smaller than the top of our player, meaning the spitball's coming from above us, yeah, we need to hit bottom right here. Yeah, so this should be a bottom right hit. And then this one should be a top right hit. Then it should be right. Okay, cool. Let's see. So we'll let the bat hit us. Hey, Loki. Hey, Loki. I don't think I realized that you were a streamer. Yo, how did your stream go? Oh shoot. This is looking pretty good. The diagonals are still off. It's like we switched our diagonals again. Oh god. Thank you for the raid, Loki. Oh, here. I always forget. Shout out. Yo, I'll have to check out your channel sometime. I don't think I realized you were a streamer. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check out your stream sometime. I'm looking at your channel now. Sweet. Cool, cool. I'm trying to see what right, you're in Godot? Oh no, you're in Lua. Ah. Cool. Nice, nice. Yeah, thanks for the raid, man. Appreciate it. We are way off on our diagonals. So, did we switch this again? Bottom right. Oh. Nope. And also some Godot. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, I hear good things about Godot. I just need to stick with one thing while I try to finish this game, and then I'm gonna reassess and try to do something different. But I'm gonna finish this game in Love2d before I move on, so that's the current plan. Okay. If we let's just try this, right? We know if the oh shoot, man, we screwed this up again. We screwed it up again. Okay, what's screwing me up is... Okay, what I mean by left column here is... What I mean is that our spitball is in the right column, meaning where it hits us is going to be in the left column. It's either going to hit us down and to the left, just to the left, or up and to the right. Cool. That's awesome. But yeah, I'm curious to check out some of your stuff. Do you have a GitHub or anything, Loki? So if our... You know what? We screwed this up so bad, man. Let's do this based on... Okay, so... Okay, so if our spitball is to the left side of the player, then if our spitball is on top of the player, this would be a bottom right hit. Is that right? Because our spitball would be on the left, and it's above our player, so it should hit us down and to the right. If our spitball is on the left, but it is beneath our player, it needs to hit us up and to the right, so top right. Otherwise, if it's not above us or below us, we need to hit just right. Okay, so let's try spitball on the left movement and see if this is looking right. Cool. Yeah, hey, if you want to share your itch link in the chat here, you totally can do that. Oh, shoot. Okay, cool. Now, it did look like our diagonal had too much. Let's continue on to do this, where we would say spitball is in the right column. Okay, so spitball's in the right column because it's greater than the right side of our player. Then if it is above our player, then we need to hit bottom and to the left. We had these so backwards. Bottom to the left. And this would be, since it is beneath us, it'd hit us top and to the left. Otherwise, just left. Okay. Then when we assign our square root, we multiply by 1.4. Right? Why does it sound, or why does it feel, yeah, it multiplies. Multiplying it by 1.4 would give us, it's 10, 1.4 would give us, 14, which is, we need to divide this whole thing by 2. So we need to divide this whole thing by 2. Oh, shoot. So we'll say like this. Divide by 2. Okay. So yeah, we divide it by 2. Oh, I missed this one. Shoot. Okay, let's try this again. We're trying to substitute our closing parentheses with a closing parentheses, followed by a closing parentheses, followed by a divided by 2. That's a wild command there. Look at that command in NeoVim. That's wild. But yeah, we replace that. Okay, and then we just need the beginning. Okay, we multiply it by 1.4 and then half it. Okay. Let's see if that looks right. Okay, here's the top left. We should move up and to the left. Nice. Oi, why? Come on, man, come on. Okay, so just left works fine. And then top right. Yep, that works. Gosh, man. Map 202, index a nil value in the map. Let's go to our map. 202. See, I really don't get this. It's like we're crashing because it's saying we're indexing a nil value. That means that there's no attack in the attacks at the ith position in that table. But what we're doing right before that is we're saying only do this stuff if the thing in the attacks table at index 1 does not equal nil. So maybe we can add a another qualifier. Like, not only is it not nil, but it would be a spitball or something. If the spitball field is true, then for everything in the attack, that gets messy. I just want to see if that dot spitball fixes it. So in our spitball, we would need a field of spitball to be true. So as we insert a spitball instantiation, it has a dot spitball field that is true. And then in our map 202, we ask if the attack at index 1, see, so now it might crash at 200 instead of 202, but at least that can maybe, oh, well, that doesn't even work. Okay, so let's say, if the map at the current row and column, if the dot attacks at index I dot spitball is true, or not nil. I don't know. I don't get why it would crash, so I don't know how to fix it. So I'm just trying something. It's looking like it works. Oh, he just killed us. Okay. I don't exactly get why what I did stopped it from crashing, but for whatever reason now, unless it has a dot spitball field that's equal to true, it's not going to try to update it. So regardless of if it's nil or not, if it doesn't have a dot spitball, we're not trying to update it. So I don't know. That's gross. Okay. The other thing we gotta do is we need to add a little bit of a delay to the bat so he doesn't always just shoot us the instant he's in range. So in our bat attack state, we should be able to add a little timer, right? So like in our attack state, we have a timer and it gets set to, let's just say 1 second. And as we update this, you know, we have this is the attack state itself. So in the update, we can say, let's deduct our timer by delta time, and then if our timer smaller than or equal to 0, then we want to insert a spitball, because right now we're inserting a spitball in the init, like right here. So what we need to do is insert a spitball only once the timer reaches 0. Now if we, let's just try it, because what we're doing is we're saying go into the dot attacks table and just insert a spitball and pass in the entity that is yourself. So self.entity. How did that work? Self.entity. Yeah, how did that work without the self.entity? Oh, because it was in here, we just used the actual entity, the parameter. Okay, so now that we took it out of the init, we need to give it the self.entity. Okay, so now after 1 second of being in the attack state, it should spit out a spitball. So it should turn red for 1 second. The bat should be red for 1 second and then spit out a spitball. Okay. Map 203, index a nil value. It did wait a second, and then it did spit, and then it did crash. 203. Oh, right here, man. This is the same issue. Because it's like it's in the attack state, but there is no spitball in there. So, see, I thought we would avoid this by saying if the attack at index 1 does not equal nil. So yeah, this does not fix our issue here. Because if we don't have, basically, let's take this out. So like, let's just say, maybe what we can do is say, we can take the number of the value in our attacks. Well, if the number of them is greater than 0, meaning there's something in there, then cycle through. We might have to, if then. What is it not like there? If the number of attacks we have is greater than 0, we have a matching. Where are we doing this? If our scene view is not shifting, then we do this. Okay. Yeah, what is it? What is it mad at? We had too many ends. Okay, so let's do this and take out this. Okay, this is what threw me off. Okay, so now we might have to insert it. Oh, you know what? We might have to insert it in curly braces so we can index into the attacks table. Okay, let's try that. So what we're going to do is when we insert in our bat attack state, we're going to insert a spitball inside a curly brace like this. And that'll allow us to access the spitballs by their index. So that when we say if the index of attacks 1 does not equal nil, then we want to cycle through all the attacks and update each attack. That should be it. Well, we'll see. So it waits 1 second. Oh, come on. Can't update on map 202 right here. Let's print up what our dot attacks is. Why? It's I don't get why it's trying to even run this code. We should, yeah, we have an empty attacks table. Yeah, okay. Let's print this up. Okay, we'll put it right here. We'll say, Okay, so we want to copy this. Basically, we want to see why okay, we'll call this attacks. And it's printing when we hold 5, so let's see. Oh, come on. It's not self.row, it is going to be scene view, current map, row, and scene view, current map, column. And we need a parentheses there. Okay, 5. See, attacks is nil. And then we crash. So it is nil. But as soon as we insert an attack in that table, it crashes and it says it cannot index a nil value. So are we not inserting it into our .attacks table? Because it says it's nil, which is right. And until 1 second passes, starting now, map 202, which map 202, we might have to ask. Oh, you know what? Well, because this is in the oh man. Okay, no, I do get this, because we don't have any attack. We don't have any attack in this table until 1 second passes, even though well, and this isn't even in. Okay, no, so this is weird. We want to only do this. See, I don't get it, because our attacks table is nil for all of the time it's not crashing. It is nil, like we're seeing that it's nil. And it's only when we get an attack inserted does this become nil. So how are we doing that wrong? .attacks, bat walk state, or bat attack state, we enter it, table.insert into the attacks table, a spitball entity. That should be right. Table.insert. It's a list, a position, and a value, an optional value parameter for the insertion. So maybe we can say, maybe the last option is like one more than the length of the table, but yeah, one more. Oh, man, so jacked up. Let's say scene view, current map dot row, scene view, current map column, and we want to do the number of how many things are in there plus 1. So if there's no thing in there, we're going to add 1, and that's the index at which you're going to insert it. So it's always the last thing you insert. I don't know. I think that's how it already works, but okay, bad argument 2, number expected got table. Bad argument 2 to insert. Table.insert, oh, position, oh. We need to swap this around, so we'll give the position and then the value. Okay, let's try that. Well, it didn't crash, but it did not insert a spitball. Okay. Oh, well. Oh, it might be inserting. Oh, we might have to. It's doing this. So once our timer is smaller than 0, we're inserting potentially infinity spitballs because we're just keep inserting them. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let's try to just insert a spitball, and then we reset our timer to 1. And then let's try to, I don't know if we need this curly brace. Let's see if resetting the timer helps us. Come on, man. Let's do it. 1 second. Shit. Let's take out the curly brace. One second. There we go. Okay. So it waits a second and it shoots us. Okay, let's see if we can outrun one. We should not be able to. It's hard to wait till 1 second. There we go, yeah. Nice. Yeah, we can't outrun it, which is good. Once he decides to spit, it's gonna hit us. Nice. Sweet. Yo, I think we did it, and it stopped crashing at that thing. Okay, so here's the moment of truth, right? If we can scale this and put 3 bats in, and it works on all the spitballs, and none of them get de-rendered and crashing on a nil value, then it's money. So let's see if we can do map declarations, and we'll go to our spitball, which actually more bats, and let's get us 2 more bats. So we'll insert a bat here, and we'll insert a 3rd bat here, and we'll see if it works with 3 bats and potentially 3 spitballs all at once. So they're going to track us. Once they turn into their tracking state, they do their little animations. We're only rendering them red to prove that they're in the attack state. So let's see. Oh yes. Ah, fuck. Oh, I knew it. No, I knew it'd crash somewhere like that. Let's see. We want to get them all red on us all at once, as close as possible. Shit. Okay, I think what's happening is like I don't know exactly what's happening, but I think what's happening is, let me see this. How do we do this? Gosh, GIMP is so weird. I never done. Okay. So I think what's happening is like 1 bat gives us a dot attack, right? So like if there's a dot attack here at index 1. Then let's say that's spit up and it's traveling. Then another one gets instantiated at index 2. And as index 2 spitball is traveling, before it reaches its destination, let's say we're right here, before it reaches here, this one, the first spitball hits us, and then it removes itself. So boom, there's all of a sudden no attack there, And this one that used to be at index 2 is now at index 1. So now this is an index 1. Yet the one at index 2 was the one we were updating. I would think that it's the same object that it goes to update, and it would pick up and continue, be like, oh, well, now this one is 1, so when we update the only one in there, we're gonna continue it traveling, and it should hit us and continue it. But as soon as that first one deletes, it shifts all of the table by 1 as we remove it. And then I think we try to index a nil value, because it's like the one that was being updated. See, and I don't know. I thought that since we're table.removing, let's see, when do we table.remove the spitball? We have a, it's just in the spitball class, we can see. Self.remove. Okay, so we have a lifespan for the spitball. So if the spitball has existed for longer than 1/10 of a second, then we're going to table.remove the spitball. And how we do that is .remove, we say it's not, where is it? I don't remember where we're removing the spitball. It's in our map, maybe. Yeah. So we're removing, yeah, we're doing it right here. Okay, so we're basically saying if our scene isn't shifting, and if we have an attack in our attack table, then we're going to cycle through all the attacks in that table, and we're going to update them. Then, if the .remove is true, meaning that the time span, the lifespan of that spitball has surpassed, and we flipped our remove boolean to true, then we're going to table.remove the object at the attacks in the attacks table at the ith index. So after we update, which could flip it to a remove true, then we're going to say, okay, well, and if we're .remove, then we're going to remove that. So I feel like the shifting is happening here. But where do we, well, and then we update here. Okay. Oh. Okay, so I think what might be happening here is we do a list of attacks, a number of attacks. So let's say there's 2 spitballs. There's 2 attacks. We get inserted into this for loop, and we're going to do something twice. And if the first spitball is .removed at this time, we .remove it from the attacks table. Then there's only 1 spitball in the table. Then we go to the second loop of this spitball of the dot attacks, and there is no dot attack. We removed the only dot attack. We removed one of the 2, meaning when I is 2, dot attacks table at index 2 doesn't exist. It's nil. That's why we're crashing at the indexing of the update, because we need to reset I. Well, we need to break the loop. I think we need to break the loop if we remove an attack, so that the next frame, we can then calculate based on the real number of tacks that are in there. So I think if we break right here, it'll fix our problem. Let's see. It's looking right. That was 3 balls at once, and we handled it like a champ. This is it. Nice. So we can stop rendering them red, because red was just to let us know that they are in the attack state and that they're going to wait to attack, and they're not going to pursue, and they're not going to spit until 1 second has passed. So the idea is we're going to enable spellcast colliding so that we can attack them. If they can attack us, we can attack them. Fair game, right? And we have 1 second before they spit us. And then we can tweak so that we give a fair amount of time, because the player doesn't start out with 3 fire spells around them. It only gets one fire spell. So you might have to do some maneuvering to get the timing right, which means we'll probably have to change the timing on the spit delay, on the initial spit timing, so that you have time to actually hit them before they hit you. So this is great. We're not crashing anymore. We've got the time delay on the spit. We got the removal of the spit wads. As they get removed, we're breaking the loop so that we don't crash there. So that's great. Okay. Yeah, so the next step is to add the collision detection for our spell casting to hit the bats so that we can knock them back just like they can hit us. And then once we have that, we'll probably rehaul the sprite art so it's not just that initial one I drew in like 1 minute. We'll tidy up the pixel art now that we've got it working. And then it'd be kind of cool if the bat kind of like closed its wings as it spit. So it's not just flapping the whole time, but maybe like close its wings or something as like an attack animation. We can change that attack animation fairly easy. And then we can start designing the dungeon with the pits and the pushables. So that'll be huge. Okay, so we're going to commit with a message saying added knockback to spit. Oh, and we missed our commit before midnight. So we're going to miss a green dot on our GitHub. That's okay. Added knockback to spitball from bats and delay spitball instantiation. I feel like I spelled instantiation wrong, but we'll git commit and push that. We do have a mobile deployment on Tashio.dev if you want to play. It's like 2 months of an old deployment. Once we get, maybe now is a good time to deploy the new thing, because we have a new enemy with different attacks and stuff. So maybe now is a good time to update the web deployment with this new stuff. And then when we finish the new dungeon design, that's probably the next checkpoint. We would go update the web deployment. So maybe tomorrow is adding knockback to the bats so that we can hit them with our spellcasting, and adding the current state to the web deployment so that that is more up to date. And Loki, thanks for the raid. I'll check out your itch here tonight while I'm uploading this to YouTube. But Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll run the credits here, and we'll find someone to raid. We've got Booyah out here. Let's see. We've got Booyah. We're probably, yeah, let's raid Booyah. Okay, sweet. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll get some more bat entity stuff figured out. Hope everyone has a great night.